I'm Scott Lang, but you might know me as Ant-Man.
And I am Hope Van Dyne, the Wasp.
Look, before we start, let me address the elephant in the room. I've heard a lot of chatter out there asking why I didn't shrink down, go in, and kill Thanos in a really creative way. First of all, gross. Secondly, it's much more complicated than that. Allow me to explain.
If only we had the time.
Welcome back, everyone. This will be my brand new video for all the Ant-Man and all the new Avengers footage that just dropped. Everybody's asking all kinds of questions. What is this canon to? Love that they mentioned so much Thanos in this. Like, why didn't I fly up Thanos' butt? Well, here's why. I'll explain what's going on here, what this is canon to, because this is meant to be a little bit different from the timeline that you're seeing in the MCU right now. Like in the MCU, Miss Marvel hasn't met the new Falcon Captain America, she hasn't met Captain Marvel yet, she hasn't met any of the other Avengers characters yet. So if you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. There's a bunch of big stuff coming up, and Thor: Love and Thunder is hitting theaters next week, so we're doing a giveaway for IMAX tickets. All you have to do to enter is just be a subscriber and post your favorite moment from all this brand new Ant-Man and Avengers footage on the video. The big joke here, obviously everyone was just talking about the Thanos joke, that them actually trying to canonize that, like, this is why I did not fly up Thanos' butt. If you don't remember, a couple years ago, this turned into like a really huge thing. Like, interviewers started asking the Russo brothers, doing the big press interviews for Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, and they had to sit there and answer questions about Thanos' butt. In fact, it was such a big deal that they just did a parody of it during The Boys Season 3 Episode 1, but with an even more WTF twist. Like in The Boys version, I can't include it in this video totally just because it's so gross. They did it as more of a front door kind of thing than a back door kind of thing, just to give you an idea. If you saw it, you know what I'm talking about. It was that gross, like they fully went there. But I know everyone's asking what's going on with these new Avengers scenes, like the new Ant-Man scenes. What is this canon to? Because like I said, this is kind of meant to be a separate timeline from what they're doing in the MCU movies right now. But this is all the actors coming back to reprise their characters, shooting a bunch of new footage for this. So the actual Ant-Man and the new Avengers footage features Ant-Man, Hope Van Dyne, Wasp, a new Avengers base, Anthony Mackie's new Captain America, the brand new Miss Marvel Kamala Khan, who also meets Captain Marvel during the footage, or just sees her in the distance and barely misses meeting her. All battling a version of Ultron who has returned in a bunch of big quantum tech in this presentation they're doing called Miracles from Molecules as part of a new Avengers tech showcase. And because he references Thanos, that means that Avengers Infinity War, the snap, happened during this timeline, so whichever universe this is taking place in, this is set like the furthest forward in the future of the MCU timeline that we've been so far, except for like the Loki series. That's kind of like an exception because they literally go to the end of the actual timeline. But if you're just talking about the stuff that takes place in present day, like this would be the furthest forward in the timeline. Aside from what's happening here, Thor: Love and Thunder is meant to be the furthest forward in the timeline that we've been, and Taika Waititi said that that's meant to take place as many years after Avengers Endgame as we've had since the movie came out. So even though the MCU is kind of like time shifted, like it starts at 2023 and moves forward from that, because it's been about 3 years after Avengers Endgame came out, it's meant to be 2026 during the events of Thor: Love and Thunder. I'll talk more about all those Easter eggs and everything that's going on during that movie when I post all those Thor: Love and Thunder videos next week when the movie comes out, so don't worry about that. But like, even though Captain Marvel, for instance, is probably going to have some kind of cameo scene of some kind in the Miss Marvel finale, that episode hasn't even gotten close to airing yet. Like, currently in the MCU, Miss Marvel has never actually met Captain Marvel, and she's never met the Falcon Captain America, or any of the other Avengers for that matter. So that's why Marvel is basically explaining this like it's meant to be an alternate universe continuity, like the 838 universe in Doctor Strange 2 is a completely separate timeline of events. They experience a similar version of events, but very different characters and slightly different events happen during them. Like, they have full-blown X-Men, Inhumans, Fantastic Four in that universe. All this brand new footage for the Avengers that they created is for something called AvengersQuantum Encounter, and it's like this big real-life event that people participate in, just happening in an alternate universe. I don't know what the actual number of their universe is, like they just canonized the main MCU as the 616 universe, like the comic book 616 universe. This one would be a different number. In the first clip, they just have a funny moment where he jokes about why he didn't do the Thanos to win Avengers Infinity War, because reasons, mostly. The fans usually wind up coming up with better theories than you wind up seeing play out in the actual movies. But in this new Avengers base, they teach the viewers how to shrink stuff using PIM particles and these new quantum cores that they're calling. It's just meant to be quantum tech that they use to harness quantum energy. They're supposed to shrink down some of his luggage. You notice on his luggage, he's got an ex-con sticker from the company that he ran with his friends. He's got a PimTech sticker, and I believe the other stickers for the old Stark Expo that you saw in Iron Man 2. They also have this new mechanical ant-based flying robot here that you could probably buy as real merch. In the footage, you notice that they're also using Friday, Iron Man's AI, so apparently after Iron Man dies in this universe, they just continue using Friday like the Avengers continue using him. They have a joke about Ant-Man messing up the quantum tech and making one of the seagulls nearby giant size. He makes a couple jokes about Captain America, Captain Marvel, and Captain Crunch, mentioning the first two because those characters literally show up in the video right after this. Then right on cue, Falcon Captain America shows up. They bring back that joke about everybody calling him the wrong name, like Ant-Man calls him Captain Falcon, just like the little kid did during that scene in Falcon and Winter Soldier. They also referenced the new Avengers base a couple times. I'm assuming this is meant to be a different base from the last Avengers base in upstate New York. There have been a couple new Avengers scenes in the MCU, like in the Shang-Chi post-credit scene, but it wasn't inside any kind of new Avengers base. Like, all the characters were just basically doing advanced Skype sessions inside Camartage. Captain America says that he, Miss Marvel, and Captain Marvel have showed up because they detected Ultron and his Ultron bots. He's calling Miss Marvel the kid, which is meant to be a joke on what they used to call Spider-Man when they first met him in Civil War, like he was the kid because he was so young. Even though this is taking place much later in the timeline when she's already met the other Avengers characters, at least during the Miss Marvel series, she's meant to be about the same age Spider-Man was during Spider-Man Far From Home, because she's a junior in high school, like she has one more year after this. And they pay off the joke about her making all the Avengers videos on her social media accounts and her Sloth Baby YouTube channel, only now she's doing actual Avengers stuff in this timeline, so it's not just fan fiction videos. She's also still got the bangle, which kind of makes it sound like after the Miss Marvel series is over, she'll still have the bangle and they won't wind up perma-destroying it. And it's just the one bangle, which is comic book accurate. Like in the comics, she only wears one bangle, even though on the Miss Marvel series, they tease this whole thing with a totally different bangle, like there's a second bangle that can give someone even more power. Captain America also makes fun of her, doing the same thing that Iron Man did to Spider-Man in Avengers Infinity War, just yelling at her to stop making so many pop culture references. Like, stop making references! He also confirms that she's still on temporary probationary status with the new Avengers, like, we'll see how things go, and maybe eventually we'll let you join the Avengers officially. I think that's going to be the idea with a lot of the brand new, really young characters that they introduce. Like, it sounds like they're working up to a Young Avengers project on the side, but there's also all the regular Avengers stuff, like the new Avengers movie, whatever Avengers 5 winds up being. Which itself is also another callback to Spider-Man wanting to be an Avenger so badly during Infinity War, and Iron Man kind of not caring about it, like, okay, you want to be an Avenger? You're an Avenger. Fine, here you go, kid. Congratulations. Like, Iron Man is worried about saving the universe, he could care less about Spider-Man actually being on the Avengers. They get into a big fight with Ultron's bots. You see Miss Marvel use her powers. Obviously, they look just like the way she uses her powers during the Miss Marvel series, just a little bit more advanced, because this is later in the timeline, and she's got her full comic book costume already. You also notice they included a Wilhelm scream. They don't put it in every single Star Wars movie or every single Marvel movie, but it shows up in a lot of them. Then they bring back Ultron, and the person who's playing Ultron isn't James Spader, but it probably sounds familiar. It's meant to be the same Ultron actor from the What If episodes. That was also Ross Marquand, who played Red Skull during Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. And then Captain Marvel shows up to help them finish off the Ultron bots, making a reference about how she has to go back to the Kree part of the galaxy to take care of another fight, which is another joke about how she's never around on planet Earth. They referenced that during the Miss Marvel series too, like she's meant to be this big fangirl of Captain Marvel, but this whole part of the intro for the first episode was her speculating about why she wasn't around in Ant-Man's podcast. That's right, Ant-Man has a podcast in the MCU now, which is canon, where he talks about a lot of Captain Marvel stuff. So apparently there's been some other adventures and some stuff has played out that we haven't seen on screen yet. They'll probably cover a lot of that stuff when we get to the Captain Marvel 2, The Marvels movie. And right as she takes off, Miss Marvel shows up asking all kinds of Captain Marvel questions, asking if she's used her binary powers, her other major comic book abilities. If you're not a big comic book reader, Captain Marvel's binary ability is actually just a form that she takes when she's so full of energy. It's like her most powerful form. She gives off the same amount of energy as a binary star. We'll also probably see that during the Marvels movie. And then they treat it like Ultron has stolen Hank Pym's quantum tech, his Pym particles, and they have to stop him, which they do. But because Marvel is coming to Comic-Con this summer, I know a lot of you are asking what kind of trailers are they going to show off at the panel. I think the only big Marvel trailer they're going to show off is going to be the Black Panther 2 trailer, and the rest of the stuff will just be like previews of Ant-Man 3 Quantumania and the other upcoming Marvel movies. Kevin Feige did say that they would reveal more of their grand plans for what's happening with Time Runs Out, Secret Wars, all the incursions, so we will find out about a bunch of other. But like the only actual real big trailer they'll officially release, I think is going to be Black Panther 2. There might be some other footage that they don't release publicly, but of course I'll do videos for all that stuff, so don't worry. I just did a whole bunch of videos on Doctor Doom. There are a bunch of Easter eggs during Doctor Strange 2. There were a bunch of announcements in real life. You can click here to learn all about those. And click here for my brand new Thor Love and Thunder trailer video and Easter eggs. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.